Fusion here, back with another reaction video. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and see, can Draymond Green and Jordan Poole's relationship be fixed? Just to start off, personally, I think they can get past it. Despite what they're saying, I don't think that this was a big reason for why they failed. If you watched a lot of the games, you saw Klay Thompson taking horrible shots. Jordan Poole was also just taking bad shots, and I don't know if that was because of the Draymond Green situation, but I feel like as of late, Klay Thompson has been a huge reason for like their losses. So it's hard for me to blame that on Draymond Green. Now, do they have to get this squashed? Yes. That's the only way that they are going to get past this whole situation. It apparently hasn't affected Draymond Green that much. But Jordan Poole, it does seem like it has affected his confidence and how he sees himself. During this whole playoff run, I don't think we've had many, if any, standout Jordan Poole games. So, yeah, but that's my thought on it. Let's go ahead and see what they got to say here.
And Green's relationship can be fixed.
I am a second chance giver. And so, however naive this may be, if Draymond Green believes that it can be fixed, although in this instant, wow, assailant feels really strong, but that's what came to mind. In this instance, he's responsible for the punch, and he's willing to do what he has to do to earn forgiveness, then I do think there's an opportunity to prepare. What I think of is that winning and success in that degree is far more valuable than holding on to this grudge.
Correct.
And so,
nigga, get over it.
To be a little altruistic here and believe that that can be repaired. What I find more interesting from that soundbite is I'm not sure that that is the single incident that derailed what this team is accustomed to doing in the postseason. I wonder if this roster had enough without that incident.
Prior to the incident, I felt like this was a completely different tune. I think that the Warriors, coming off of a championship win, that teammates are going to fight. People are going to fight if you're on the same team or in the same group long enough. There is going to be conflict. That being said, Draymond Green shouldn't have swung on him, but I'm wondering if there's other incidents besides this one incident that has had like Jordan Poole almost doubting himself. Because I don't think this one incident changed their whole entire year. Just like I stated before, I think a lot of the blame does have to be on Klay Thompson. He's always been a volume shooter, and when he ain't hitting, he's just shooting horrible shots, and they're just losing because of those.
I'm going to go ahead and say this about that. I am really glad that Draymond Green took accountability. Right? I think recognizing that and owning that is a great first step, especially publicly for Jordan Poole to hear it and to register. And for everybody else. That's what leaders do. I think throughout the course of the season, though, the arrogant responses were worse than the punch itself. There is nothing worse than to know a critical moment occurred, and that's on Steve Kerr, too. It's on Steve Kerr. He's not absolved, right? And Steph. Because all these responses, when you start giving me excuses, now I know you're trying to run further away from the incident instead of dealing with the incident. Look, we all been on championship teams. Like when you have to face that stuff head on.
It's true.
Because if you don't, regardless of how long it takes, that stuff festers. And by the way, there were so many times in Game 6 when Sacramento came into Golden State and won. That scene when Jordan Poole is coming over and Dre's trying to talk to him. Like, if that situation was squashed earlier, Jordan Poole would be way more apt to listen to.
But is that true? I think there's a lot of different situations that we are seeing from Jordan Poole where I think he is acting not in turn, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not saying that he has to forgive Draymond Green. If Jordan Poole wants to not fuck with this dude forever, then I get it. But if you are deciding to stay on the team and decide to push through it, I think at some point you're going to have to squash it like yourself. I think eventually, if you are trying to win a championship, you're going to have to put that on the back burner or squash it immediately. And I agree with what Jay just said. I think a lot of it is, of course, on those two, but as the leader of the team, Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, they should have called this out and instantly tried to squash it. We shouldn't be talking about this after in postseason. We shouldn't.
Dre, who knows what the hell he's talking about, who's one of the geniuses of our game, to say, you know what, you're right about that, Dre, get on the same page. But what happened? Get on, man, I'm fine. And then Steph has to walk by, right? And then Steph is kind of scolding or trying to talk to Jordan Poole. And then he's dapping up Draymond Green. And then Jordan Poole's like, oh, you on his side. You taking his side. So now it's you. It creates a you versus me or us versus me instead of we're all pulling in the same direction. And their inability to address that and deal with that is what ultimately led to all the slippage. It led to that. I mean, amidst other factors as well.
Yeah.
Because then you can't really address things being straight up.
I think there is two things can be true.
Yeah.
You got to address it head on, and you got to apologize if you're Draymond Green, which I don't know what happened behind the scenes. But I also think that Jordan Poole needing time is also a real thing in the healing recovery process.
Just listen to Steve Kerr. He used trust multiple times. That's a big deal. Every championship team I've been on there's obviously talk about camaraderie, chemistry, but ultimately it's trust. I got to be able to trust you to do your job. In football, I've seen many a time fights in the locker room, fights on the sideline. But you know what happens? 9 times out of 10, it gets squashed right then and there because ultimately.
And I think that has been the problem. And I think it was made worse because it was leaked. Because men, we don't like to be embarrassed. We are a very insecure gender. So it is when people are calling you out, calling you a pussy, calling you a bitch, all this and all that online all day for almost 2 months, you start feeling a type of way. So since it got leaked, since that came out, every single time that Jordan Poole plays bad, or every single time that Draymond Green plays bad, or every single time there's some sort of maybe a small conversation that happened on the bench, it will bring that same thing up. That will always happen. And because of that, I think it affected Jordan Poole enough to where that he can't turn it off. And I think that has been affecting him. And of course, Draymond Green has some blame into that. But I think eventually Jordan Poole is going to have to get over it. Because it happens in sports all the time. Like, the only difference was it was put out, and because of that, I think that Jordan Poole is just going to be a lot more salty for I don't know how much longer. Or they're going to have to make this trade happen.
Ultimately, everyone knows that, listen, yeah, we might have had a squabble, we might have a beef, but nothing supersedes winning. That's why we're here. We're here to win. And from what it looked like from the outside looking in, that process never happened. That process never happened where they squashed this in order to move forward, not only as teammates, but as a team. And there's a lot of people at fault in this whole situation. The two parties involved. You gotta be able to squash and put all that to the side in order to achieve the ultimate goal. But the coach is also at fault as well, because when you have a situation like that where, Draymond Green just tried to fold that dude. I'm assuming in the preseason, and y'all don't like. I don't care. Cancel practice, whatever you got to do. But if that situation doesn't get rectified then and there, then it leaves a friction that only gets worse as the season moves forward. So can it be resolved? Absolutely, if the parties want it to be resolved.
Do you think they could have recovered from it if the video doesn't get out?
Yes.
Really?
So it becomes the public part is now the.
Well, because I think the public part then adds another layer because you keep getting asked about it.
Didn't I just say that?
How the media is. Like, but it goes back to your point. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty much everything on the video, but I just said that. Like, that's what happens because it's social media, and these are professional basketball players and men at that. So it's going to affect you because it's gonna keep on being brought up. There's no way for it to not be brought up. So the only way for you to get past it is to really be over it. Because you're going to get asked the same thing every single time you fuck up, or if Draymond Green messes up, or if the team fails, or anything. That incident will always be on the microscope. But that's pretty much everything, guys. Tell me what you guys think about the video. Like, comment, subscribe. We're at 81 followers on TikTok. Please go check that out. I do a daily post on there. Pretty much the same thing as on our shorts. So make sure that you go check that out. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.